Hey nerds!
Hey nerds!
Happy New Year!
We didn't quit YouTube
Wu-
like everyone else.
oh, I was gonna do Wu Tang, but this is that stupid bird.
Yeah.
Wu Tang.
Guess elephant in the room, we haven't been on the air for quite a while.
Shout out Vague Sickness.
We did shoot a podcast on December 31st, but did not make it on the YouTube because it was a bit choppy.
I'll take full responsibility for this one. It would have been our last episode of 2023. It was our Christmas spectacular, and I tried to tweak the settings. Like anybody who's familiar with the show knows that we're known for our production value.
Yeah.
And so I said, you know what? Times are changing. Let's go out with a bang. And so I kind of tweaked the settings of OBS a little bit and I wanted it to look better. And in doing so, I kind of mucked things up.
Yeah, your computer did not like it.
Yeah, so I have since made plans to buy a graphics card, a new one.
Sweet.
I typed in, I go, what's the best graphics card? And I said, oh, what's this? 4700 or whatever, or 4090 or 40, whatever the hell it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay. So GeForce, this is the one I want. NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4060 or whatever. I don't remember what the numbers were, 4090. But I said, okay, let me look up some prices real quick.
Yeah, kind of expensive.
$2,500. I was like, oh my God, what's the next best?
They used to be even more
Because
back
of the
when,
chip shortage.
yeah, well, there was the chip shortage, and then when crypto was even bigger than it is
Oh,
now.
yeah.
I mean, people need those to mine crypto, so
So I settled on a 3060 model. I looked up, I like, because I guess I don't use my graphics card for gaming. So I don't need like
except for balloons.
true balloons. I like to get the crispest, oh my God, dude. Crispiest of oranges for my balloons. As long as I got a strong orange,
Okay.
then I'm good. But I need a better graphics card for that. I need
Yeah,
most realistic.
We
Oh,
talked
no,
about a lot
high.
of stuff about in that episode, but you'll never see it, so
Some clips though, I have combed through it for like interesting stuff. Like I really want to salvage the Yellowstone beef jerky taste test because that was fun.
yeah.
I enjoyed that
Well, you
beef
can always
stick.
get some more beef jerky.
Yeah. Ooh, maybe I shouldn't have said I enjoyed it. Dang, spoiler alert.
And then after that podcast, you guys over here started getting sick, and then I
Yeah,
started getting sick, and
that's 2 years in a row.
finally here we are, on January 13th.
Yeah.
So basically
Well,
like 2 weeks.
we did do okay for content. I didn't post last Friday, because I just had not had enough sleep. And I was like, you know what? YouTube doesn't care if I post regularly. Side note though, typical for, for us, are off camera, but because we're filming, like I'm just going to say it. Uh, we had a lot of success at the end of last year.
We did,
That was a
yes.
big deal.
We had the
Multiple videos
the
almost reached
yeah
10,000.
the first time on YouTube, at least. I don't know about like Facebook or whatever, but one of our shorts got to 10K.
It's the first time that we broke 10K. We've come close twice, I think. And then we broke 10K, and it was awesome because it was, which one was it again? Oh
That
my
was
God.
the one where I'm like, hey, pass me that whatever, but you're like, I can't see.
Oh yeah. The dumbest,
Yeah.
the dumbest concept. Thanks, shout out to Bobby.
I guess that one really resonated.
Yeah, friends be like. I think that's what it was.
Okay.
Some friends be like. But yeah, that one did well, and cherry mustard still sits under 100. And the one we just put out is under 100 also, by the way.
Yeah.
The travel guide did not do very good.
The travel guide we filmed a long time
That was like
ago.
4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah, but there was a lot of editing that Caleb needed to do, and then we had to cut out a lot of the jokes that were very specific to that time.
Originally, it was conceived as a sketch,
Yeah.
and that's why it was hard. was because trying to make that work as a sketch, it was harder to keep us together because remember we filmed each individual, we filmed ourselves separate.
Yeah.
And so for this one, because it was a short and I wasn't constrained with having us both on screen at the same time,
Hmm.
it made it so much
Okay.
easier. And so like it was literally like just maybe 4 hours, maybe not even that.
All right. So next time if we do travel guide part two, we need a cameraman, is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Oh gosh. Yeah. We wanted to get in. I wanted to get into the Cat Williams bit
Okay.
because
Yeah.
that's been kind of blowing up. Everybody's sharing the clips from Cat Williams talking and stuff.
So he had an interview. What was it like? Some on
He
some
was on
sports guys podcast,
Shannon
right?
Sharp. He did a
Yeah.
podcast where he just kind of was ranting. I think someone said he was drunk the whole time. Like
Okay.
he
I mean,
just
that
got
could
drunk and
explain
was talking.
it.
So my hot take when I first heard about it, the very first clip that I saw was him ragging on Kevin Hart.
Okay.
And I'm not defending Kevin Hart, but at the same time, like it is true that there's not a lot of people who are as busy as Kevin Hart.
Well, for those that don't know, and I might get this wrong, but he was saying that Kevin Hart was coming from the East Coast, and I guess he was mad that he was getting all this hype when he first came to the West Coast or
Well, he
something.
was
Or
calling him a plant, and
okay,
you're familiar with the term in music,
no, what's that?
the like plants.
And not in music, no.
And well, okay, so like in music, was the first time I ever heard about the concept was in music, but it was basically studios will put or music companies, record companies will put a bunch of money behind some rando that they can kind of control the majority of their music.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So there's people like who's a good example of a
Why
plant?
isn't that's basically most like boy bands or girl bands, right?
Pretty much, right?
Yeah.
And so the idea was that Kevin Hart was groomed to be successful in comedy because that was his point of contention was that nobody ever heard of Kevin Hart. He wasn't selling out comedy shows before he got big. And while that seems true, because I'll be honest, I didn't even know who Kevin Hart was before Soul Plane. And he was talking about how, oh, Soul Plane, this and that. But if you go back and watch a lot of old movies, like Kevin Hart pops up a lot in a lot of comedies. He was in 40-Year-Old Virgin, Soul Plane. He was in like this super low budget one we were just watching. He popped up for like 10 seconds in Meet the Fockers.
Okay.
And I was like, that's random. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
was it Meet the Fockers or Little Fockers? It was one of them. But, dude, side note, Meet the Fockers, or no, Meet the Parents. You remember the movie, right?
To meet the parents, the meet the Fockers,
And
and
then
then
Little
little
Fockers.
Fockers.
But Meet the Parents is, dude, it's, I don't want to call it cringe, but it is so awkward to watch it.
I remember it being funny
It
once
was
back in
hilarious
the
when we were
day.
younger when you're a kid and you're watching it and everyone is so antagonistic towards him in that movie.
Yeah.
It just like it's secondhand embarrassment. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like the whole movie, I'm just sitting here like this, like, oh God, dude. Like if I was in that situation, I would have left. Like
Yeah.
I would have dipped and it wouldn't have been an issue for me. And then so that was the Meet the Parents, and then Meet the Fockers comes out. I'm watching it and I'm like, I remember it being funnier, but I like Dustin Hoffman. Um, and so I'm watching, I'm like, okay, this isn't bad. And then the kid who is supposed to be his son looks exactly like him. I forgot the actor's name. But and then I watched Little Fockers and I was like, okay, yeah, this is like in keeping with modern day comedy movies. And it was actually pretty funny.
I don't know if I've ever even seen Little
I had never
Fockers.
seen it. I had never seen it. I watched it. It's now my favorite one.
Okay, well maybe I should check it out too.
I was like, holy crap, it's actually really funny. Well, they did something with the third one that they should have done with the first one. Have more Owen Wilson. Because Owen Wilson is
Yeah,
hilarious.
his character is really funny in that movie,
And
in that series.
he's like a large part of the third movie.
Okay.
And so I was like, damn, it's really funny. And then they had like Peele show up. Jordan Peele showed up at the end.
Hmm.
Robert 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 Downey Jr. Robert De Niro is really good. Anyway, Cat Williams. Um,
He was taking shots at a lot of people.
yeah, he was basically ragging on everyone
Um,
except Mike Epps. I thought that was pretty funny because he said Mike Epps put out a video. He was like, you know, damn, Cat Williams didn't say nothing about me, good or bad. Damn, man. he's like, he's like, say something. We were in a movie, man.
yeah, I mean, I really would not be able to tell if any of that stuff he was saying is true or not. I don't keep up with like that type of showbiz
A lot of it
gossip and
was
comedy people gossip and everything.
a lot of
So,
it was just like opinion stuff. Like he kept saying that the Joe Rogan people were not funny. It was a funny joke though, because it is kind of true that all the comedians that frequent Joe Rogan are not that funny. Like Andrew Schultz is funny sometimes, and he is funny. Like all of those guys are funny. I should amend that statement. It was funny what Cat Williams was saying, but he's obviously exaggerating the, you know what I mean? Those guys are funny, but I think the world is forgetting that not everyone is Dave Chappelle. Not everyone is George Carlin. Not
well,
everyone.
when I was reading about what he had said, a couple different times he mentioned about guys wearing dresses or some
Dude,
companies wanting him to wear a dress. And I know that is something that also Dave Chappelle had mentioned before in one of his specials, I
that,
think.
how do you feel about that?
I wasn't,
You're
he
not
was
too familiar with the
like,
concept?
he was trying to say that they weren't gonna, like, I guess to be in Hollywood, they force you to play a part and wear
So
a dress or something.
So
I don't know what he was saying.
essentially, Dave Chappelle, Cat Williams, there's many of them that have said it, that have brought it up. The concept that they want you to wear a dress, and in their telling of it, the idea of wearing the dress is more of a metaphor for them, for the studio controlling what you do.
Okay.
And so Dave Chappelle always tells a story of on Blue Streak, how remember he was in Blue Streak with Martin
I
Lawrence.
don't remember him on Blue Streak. I remember him on Con Air.
Yeah, he was. Oh man, I can't quote because you didn't
Hey,
mean
you
that
didn't.
whole two
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, it was such a good line.
Hell yes,
But
I meant it.
give me the gun. Hell yes, I meant it. I like the. It's my favorite part when he says, "Give me the gun." Like I'll give you my opinion, or I'll tell you the truth after you give me the gun.
Yeah.
But John Malkovich is so good. In fact, side note about John Malkovich, we're watching Space Force the other day. Shout outs everybody who was part of Space Force,
Great
which
series.
is the best show to ever be canceled after the second
Rest
season.
in peace.
Penny was watching it with us, and
She
she was
liked it
listening
too.
to John Malkovich, and she goes, "That guy sounds rude."
All right. Well, we should definitely show Penny Con Air later.
Dude, I was laughing so hard. But but anyway, damn it. They always tell the story about wearing the
Not the
dress
dresses, yeah.
and how it's essentially like, someone having control over their what they think is funny. And
I
so if
mean,
someone
I'm pretty sure every studio ever does that, and it's not necessarily limited to just, black men.
I hate when I love Dave Chappelle. I think he's top 3 best comics of all time. Number 1 in terms of storytelling. But as funny as I think he is and as genuine as I think he is, I do believe that he means what he says. And I just wish that he could see a larger picture versus him taking it as a slight that someone might suggest him wearing a dress was funny. And my point that where I'll always point to is Monty Python. Monty Python
Yeah,
back in the 70s,
Mrs. Doubtfire.
they were wearing dresses in their sketches because they didn't have girls. There will come a day where we need a girl and we can't get a girl, and I'll suggest putting on a dress because I don't give a shit and it's funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
SNL has been doing. Remember they were doing Kate McKinnon and A.D. Bryant dressed as men,
Yeah.
and I think that that's funny if they're doing that classic bit of men dressed as women. And I feel like they were doing like a modern version of that, and I find
Yeah,
that
no,
funny.
well, SNL has done that a bunch. Like, didn't what's her name? Like Melissa McCarthy, she played like what's his name? Like Sean Spicer for a
Well,
while,
yeah, but
and
that's all like super recent. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
So they've been doing that like the whole time, pretty much,
That's
is what I'm saying.
not the whole time. The
Um,
girls as men is like a more recent thing, which I find very funny.
Okay.
I guess that's stupid for me to say it's recent. I mean, I'm certain that you can point to a bunch of sketches in the past where it's happened before, where they needed a man to look feminine. You know what I mean? Like, or there was a feminine man that they needed a woman to impersonate. Kind of like how Will Ferrell did Janet Reno
Yes.
hilariously.
Yeah.
And so my thoughts on that whole wearing a dress thing is it's just such a weird hill to stand on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that they have to do it to be funny. Dave Chappelle is plenty funny without having to do it, but I feel like his reasoning, and Cat Williams too, like the dude is funny. Have you ever watched a Cat Williams stand up?
I don't think so, but a pimp named Slickback was really funny.
I liked him in the Friday movies, but I say I liked him in the Friday movies. I don't know any other movies that he did. And so he's a funny guy. He's very funny, but he's like that obnoxious type humor. And then in more recent years, he's kind of like Dane Cook, where he just points out obvious stuff
Mm.
and then kind of riffs on it, which is funny. It's not that it's not funny, but I don't think Cat Williams is top 20 to be acting like the way that he is. I watched a thing with Leslie Jones, like right before you got here. Leslie Jones was on Bobby Lee's Tiger Belly
Who's
podcast.
Leslie Jones again?
Leslie Jones is the stand-up comedian. Let's see if I can describe her without saying black woman. She's
Was she the one
the
from SNL?
yes.
Okay, I know who you're talking about. That's who I thought it was, but I wasn't sure.
What helped you to discover in your mind who she was on SNL? Was it when I said the funny black woman? And there's been very few.
Well, I when you said her name, her image popped up in my mind, but I wasn't 100%
Okay.
because sometimes I am completely off about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm just saying because I feel like if you say the black girl on SNL, there's only been like four. Can you name them?
No, I can't.
Ellen Cleghorn, Ego Nwodum. I don't know how to say her name. Leslie Jones, and who's the one that's on there now? Oh no, no. Oh no, she's my favorite. Oh dude, I feel so bad because I
So
like
you couldn't
her.
name them either.
No, I like her, but I cannot remember her name. She was only on there for like 3 or 4 seasons. Dang it.
Did you watch Dave Chappelle's new special on
Dude, it
Netflix?
was so good.
I didn't think it was as funny as his last one.
It was more subdued. It's true, it was more subdued. I did not laugh out loud as hard as I had at previous ones. I thought him talking about Norm in the beginning was great. I love that him and Norm were buddies. Um, did he didn't tell the story about the last time he saw Norm, did he? Not on that.
I
I
don't
think that was
remember
on the Norm
that.
special on Netflix.
Yeah, he was talking about when Norm took him to meet Jim Carrey
Yeah,
when they
dude.
were filming Man on the Moon. I would have been disappointed too if Jim
Yeah.
Carrey was acting like that if I met him.
Dude, nobody in comedy, nobody in the history of oration, is that what you call it? No one is as good a storyteller as that dude. Oh my God, Dave Chappelle is good, and he's so good at the pausing at the right moments. I liked when he was telling the story about the dude who rushed the stage. That was killing me. And he's talking about Jamie Foxx and the white hat.
Yeah.
When he did the Puff Daddy bit, I swear to God, the first thing I said when he said Puff Daddy, my brain said and then he did it, and I was oh dude, I was dying because I too watched Chappelle's show,
Yeah.
and when he said freaking Jon Stewart jumped out, I dude, I like how he kept teasing his bodyguard Travis.
Yeah.
That was a good bit. I
I
don't want to
also
give away all his bits.
yeah.
Yeah, like
I
anyone who's watching our
I
channel,
also watched Ricky Gervais's new one,
I
but
haven't seen that yet.
that wasn't as funny as his last one either.
Did you notice wait? Did you watch the Shane Gillis one?
Who's that again?
Shane
Guess I
Gillis
didn't. I
is
don't
the
know.
comedian who looks like he has Down syndrome. That's the best way to
No, wait,
describe
I
it.
think I have seen his. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It
But
was
I
good.
can't remember any bits though.
He's the one who was talking about going to the George Washington. He went to Mount Vernon or whatever.
Doesn't sound familiar.
and everyone was acting in character, and but it was during COVID, so he was there by himself.
I do remember now. Yeah, I guess yeah, he went to that old-timey like American Revolution
Yeah,
reenactment, and yeah, I do remember. That does sound familiar.
and that dude's funny. Okay, so I have been. It's funny how this episode just kind of turned into like comedian stuff, so we'll just leave it at that. But basically, in the last like 2 weeks, because we were sick and kind of isolating, watched a lot of stand up,
Okay.
and I'll say this because it's very important. Shane Gillis had me laughing the hardest of the more recent ones. So like Shane Gillis, Dave Chappelle, we watched another one, but I don't even remember what it was. God dang it. I don't even remember who it was. But we I haven't watched the Ricky Gervais one yet, so I can't say for certain. But Shane Gillis had me laughing pretty hard. And but I watched the Pete Holmes. Did you watch that?
I feel like we talked about that one before. I did watch it. I didn't. I guess I didn't like it as much as you did.
Yeah, that one had me
But he's
reeling,
but I do
dude.
like him. He's a funny dude.
He caught me off guard a lot of times because I wasn't expecting him to be funny. My expectations were low. But speaking of Shane Gillis, that's part of the Joe Rogan group,
Oh,
or at
okay.
least kind of adjacent, because he was kind of doing his own thing for a long time. Then he started hanging out with the Joe Rogan group, and he started getting what they call the Joe Rogan bump. And so, basically, being on Joe Rogan exposes yourself to a wider audience, and then you get more viewership. Now, it doesn't always translate to positivity because look at people like Brendan Schaub, who have you watched any of his stand up?
It
He's
doesn't. That name doesn't sound familiar.
Brendan Schaub is the ex UFC fighter, and then he quit fighting. He does the podcast with Brian Callen. He did one with Theo Vaughn. Theo Vaughn, I think, is really funny, but I don't know if he counts as like the Joe Rogan crew. Anyway, Cat Williams had made the joke that Joe Rogan had all these comedians who ain't never been funny. And it's not necessarily true. I feel like Cat Williams is on par with all of those dudes anyway.
It's I guess what I take issue with is, and I want to say right now, it's not like I even watch or listen to the Joe Rogan podcast, but it's not like Joe Rogan has like this obligation to fairly, you know,
Distribute his
distribute all his guest spots, you know?
yeah. I It's not Joe Rogan's fault that these other but one thing that a lot of people bring up too is that Joe Rogan is not like the best stand-up comedian. And while it's probably true, see, I don't view like it's easy for me to pick like a best. So it's easy for me to say like a top 5 comedians that stand out head and shoulders above the rest, right?
Okay.
To me it's easy to do that. But whereas like in like football where you have like objective stats to
Hmm.
measure players and how well they are, or basketball or
Okay.
any type of sports category. In comedy, it's so different because you can find someone so funny and the rest of the world hates him. I'm pretty sure there's someone out there who thinks Carrot Top is the funniest.
Well, I guess probably the one stat in comedy would just be like ticket sales or something, right?
I mean, yes, but then by that metric, Kevin Hart is the funniest. You know
Oh.
what I mean? And do you think that that's accurate?
Well, I mean, once again, I guess this is all subjective,
Of
but what I'm
course.
saying is if you had to choose one single thing that you can measure, then that's really the only thing you can measure.
I feel like I,
There's nothing else to measure besides that, right?
uh,
If you're talking about stats,
positive public perception. I guess I don't.
how do you measure that?
You take a vote. You say rate this guy on 1 to 10.
Okay.
I guess, but that would just be an opinion of it. It'd be a collective opinion, right? A consensus. But I think it's safe to say that Chappelle is top 5. I still think Carlin's top five. A lot of people would put Richard Pryor top five. Maybe, maybe not. I always thought Eddie Murphy was really funny, but he didn't have. He kind of quit stand up, and so it kind of maybe he's just outside now,
It seems like a bunch of comedians are like real haters.
dude.
They hate on other people's success.
Cat Williams saying all this stuff. Joe Rogan even right after he was like, well, I'd love to have Cat Williams on the show. Like, come on, yeah, he knows it'll be good for the show and stuff. Plus, Joe Rogan's a cool guy, and let me finish my thoughts on what I was saying about him.
Okay.
So I do think that there's a top five, but I also think that everybody under the top five is like dead even.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Is that fair? You,
Yeah,
you understand what I
yeah,
mean?
no, yeah, like when you're coming up with a tier list
Yeah.
for like Street Fighter 6 or
You
whatever,
got S tier and
there's a couple people,
yeah.
that are definitely at the top, but the majority of the cast is kind of right there in the middle.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And
And the difference between, an A and a B is really not that huge.
and Cat Williams talking about, comedians on Joe Rogan not being funny. That's not the same type of comedy. Like Cat Williams really heavily relies on like weed smoking humor. He relies on relating to what he sees as his audience in like the black community. And so all of those jokes are tailored towards, a specific crowd. He's not mass appeal. And
Yeah.
I feel like if like look at somebody like Dave Chappelle, who he very specifically highlights a lot of his comedy towards his community, but at the same time he is appealing because he can relate everything to anybody really. Like I feel like the dude he does nothing but be relatable.
Yeah.
And he is because he's human, and I think that's even one of the bits or one of the points that he made when he was talking about that trans stuff was, he's human, so he can make mistakes or whatever. But I say like if he's making a mistake, I don't think anything he's ever said was wrong at any point, even during his sketches, dude. God damn it, the Clayton Bigsby stuff. Uh, anyway, Cat Williams coming at everybody so hard.
Yeah, it just seems like he's hating.
Let go, let go,
Do you
dude.
remember, I guess, back in the day when Dane Cook was like the
Top of the world.
top of the world and there were a lot of people hating on him?
Well, it was always comics.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they would
Yeah,
hate on him like he's not a real comic, this and that.
yeah. They
And
thought that his
they're just being haters. I mean, the dude was funny.
he had what they called low hanging fruit. Like he was making like Seinfeld observations, but with none of the Seinfeld class. Like I'll always go back to
I always thought Dane Cook was funny. I haven't seen
he
anything
was funny
recent, but I remember, watching him and thinking he was funny.
when
And
he was sitting in
so
the movie
why
theater.
hate why hate on him if you're just if it's just because they're jealous of of his success at the time.
When he was talking about the movie theater and the cup holder, when you're trying to put the cup back in the cup holder
I don't remember that
and you
one.
can't see, and so you're doing this like you're circling the rim of the cup holder.
Hmm.
It's absolutely like when he did that bit, I was like, oh my god, that's me, I do that, like, and so did 40 million other people because everyone's done that who's been in a movie theater. um but yeah, like I remember at the time he was funny. Nick Schwartzen was another stand-up comedy. Remember Nick Schwartzen?
Mm,
For a minute he was like everywhere for
he's
like a good year or two. Like he was everywhere. He had like 5 or 6
he's
comedy
pals with
specials.
Adam Sandler, right?
Yeah, he's relegated to like Adam Sandler like B rolls. I say B rolls because I still consider Adam Sandler a movie star, like class A. What would it be called? Like, oh my god, what are they called? B movies, A movies? That'd
A
be A
list.
movie, A list. But Nick Schwartz is like C list, and he just kind of comes out in Adam Sandler movies. But he's funny. I actually think he's funny, but it's just weird how his comedy trajectory went from you know a bunch of specials in a short amount of time. It was around the same time as the Dane Cook stuff, so like all of that was happening at the same time. And I say all that because Benny would buy them. So like Benny had all these Dane Cook specials, all these Nick Schwartzen specials, and who I never liked?
Hmm.
Gabriel Iglesias.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Fluffy either.
I call him Gabriel Iglesias because that's his name. I'm not a fan. I don't like any comedian who tailors their comedy to a specific audience. And I think that's probably what my issue with like Cat Williams is. Like if you don't smoke weed and you're not part of his very particular community, then a
uh,
lot of his jokes are kind of miss.
yeah, but me and you both really love workaholics, and we don't smoke pot or do any drugs at all.
Well, yeah, but act silly and do stupid shit and say stupid shit, that's us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean there's at least is somewhat relatable. And also, I've said this many
And I
times.
think Half Baked was a hilarious movie.
I've said this many times that
And Your Highness.
I would absolutely be a gigantic drug user if ever I could get my hands on it. It just always
Okay,
eludes
now
me.
now for the audience, that is not an invitation to slide into to Caleb's DMs with offers.
Now the only offers we get in our DMs are, dude, you put out really good content, but you're not very good at marketing. So pay me and my company to do it. And I'm like, oh God.
Speaking of marketing, are we for sure hitting that con next month, or what do you think?
The one for my sister, we're gonna work the booth,
Do we
her
know who? Do we
booth.
know who? Do we know her booth number yet?
I have no idea.
Okay, well, in the next pod we'll find out. We'll let you know
Yeah.
exactly where we're gonna be next month
She's
at the
supposed to
con.
have the baby sometime next month, I think.
What's the name of this con?
This one is gonna be the anime convention, generic.
Okay,
We still haven't got word back on
still no.
Corpus Christi Comic Con yet.
I would. You should definitely send them a follow-up email just so we can get a firm yes or no.
I need a yes or no right now.
All right, we're
Like
checking.
when
We're checking the email right now.
no nothing. Oh wait, what is that? Is that production or
It
perfection?
says AKAI profession. Is that your
Oh, Akai, that's
keyboard?
that keyboard thing.
Yeah.
Shout out to anybody who also makes music, cause we do too now. We're official music makers.
Yeah, maybe we can finally shoot these
Music videos.
music video sketches we've had planned forever.
I I didn't want to tell Kevin this until it was more confirmed,
Okay.
but I'm working on a Yellowstone.
A Yellowstone musical or what?
I'm working on a Yellowstone. Well, I didn't think about musical, but yes, now yes. I was working on a Yellowstone, or I've been brainstorming a Yellowstone music video where we do like a rap song to further miss the Yellowstone point. You know what
Okay.
I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I did have a funny idea for a sketch we could do. All over the internet there was, I guess, some guy from some guy from a YouTube channel was gonna stop making videos, and people are all sad about it. That I've never watched this YouTube channel or even heard of it before 2 weeks ago, but the Game Theorists or whatever, have you
Oh,
ever heard of
really?
them? And I guess one of those dudes is no longer gonna make videos, and people are sad. And I was thinking because I'm assuming you have never heard of him either.
No, no, I know. I've heard of him.
Oh, okay. Because I had never heard of him, and I was thinking, do the same thing as Yellowstone, just make up some stuff
Try.
about about
We'll inherit their audience.
about what they do.
Uh,
It's so weird when you're just on the internet and people have such are into these things you've never even heard of your entire life, and they get like emotionally invested in them, and it's like, okay,
what
it's
do you
just
mean?
weird. Like people are like, I guess, legit sad that this game theorist guy is not going to be there anymore.
Well, wouldn't you be sad if like Mega 64 packed it in?
Yeah, but Mega 64 is good.
Uh, Speaking of Mega 64 though, I was on their channel and I was scrolling through. They only have like a handful of and I'm not disparaging Mega 64. They are part of the reason that I even started watching YouTube. I absolutely loved when I first saw the Resident Evil 4. Remember the what are you selling?
Classic, yeah.
Dude, blew my mind. Blew my mind. And I am a huge Metal Gear fan. And when they had Kojima come out, I was like,
Hmm.
These dudes are the best.
Yeah, they've had a lot of dudes.
And I absolutely, absolutely love Mega 64 with all my heart. But when I was going through their channel and I noticed that their views, they only have a handful of view counters that are higher than 1 million.
Yeah.
And their highest watched video is the Cell Saga, I think, and it was like 13 million. And they have less than 700,000 subscribers. Now, I'm certain that they make money.
Yeah.
I'm certain they
They
make money.
I mean, everyone that works, well, the four main guys at least, that is their job, and they make money, and they have houses, so yeah, they're making money.
I know that they also had done videos for like IGN and stuff. I know they've done other things. I saw that they had like a TV show.
It was like a public access show
No, but that's
that they
still,
put on
dude.
in San Diego. Yeah.
I'd like to find that because I have never seen it.
Okay.
But
Yeah, you could probably
anyway,
find it somewhere.
they had like 30 episodes or something like that. And I mean,
For
dude,
sure, it's probably like on their Patreon at the very least.
we need probably get on there and set up our Patreon so people we can get 30 episodes. But anyway, I say all that to say, dude, I would have thought that they were like a pillar of YouTube,
The
but
the problem I think that they have is that they stick to video game humor only.
true.
If they were able to branch out more, then I think that would bring in a larger audience, but it's just strictly video game humor.
Anybody who's out there, hit up Mega 64. We need to combine forces.
And honestly, it's not like they just really don't put out a lot of sketches. Like their most prevalent product is just their podcast that they do every week or almost every week. They skip a lot of weeks. But
I can relate.
but yeah, they don't have like a whole ton of videos that they actually do, because they actually they actually try real hard on the projects they do work on, like the Sweden all the Sweden videos they do. Those
Yeah.
are like year-long projects for them
The Metal
to make sure they get
Gear,
it absolutely perfect.
the 5 minutes, the Metal Gear in 5 minutes and stuff. Speaking of Sweden though, I had the idea of doing a Sweden water world, remember?
Yeah,
Dude, I want to do that
I
so
still have
bad.
that written in our notebook.
Just because it's so stupid. Also, it'd be because only okay. The entire joke of the water world Sweden is
Gene Triplehorn.
well, no, the entire joke is centered on very specifically us pulling off the effect of us in like a little kiddie pool, and then we key out the kiddie pool and we key out the background, so it's our little body of water, you know what I mean, inside of another body of water.
Yeah.
And like we had to get a boat, obviously we got to be in like a boat,
Yeah.
and we have to do gills, so that'll be fun to do a special
Yeah.
effect of the gills,
Yeah.
right?
Practical effects.
We can get like a fish and just film it breathing for close-ups.
Just put like a green patch right there.
God dang it, dude. And then whenever we do like the ship, like remember the tanker,
Yeah.
we can go downtown and try and film on the Lexington again.
Who is the bad guy? Like Dennis Hopper,
Dennis
right?
Hopper.
Okay, yeah.
We can do the scene where they lower that dude to go check the level of the oil or whatever,
Yeah.
and it blows up.
Yeah, that
Remember?
guy blows up, but yeah, I remember that.
I haven't seen that movie in so long. The underwater stuff is going to be kind of like,
That'll be a little bit difficult.
yeah. Side note, I want to point this out. I was recently, I've been saving lists of new equipment to buy,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna get new cameras. That's
Okay.
number one on the table. I'm gonna get new cameras. I think these are serving us well and have for 2 years, but I think it's time to upgrade and try and get into the modern age of high def 4K. But I am gonna have to get a new graphics card to be able to handle the 4K stuff. I can do 4K, I just can't stream it.
That's all right. We're not really trying to stream much anyways.
Yeah. Well, I do. I would like to get into streaming, audience. I keep looking up here at the damn. Anybody who doesn't know, I have my 55-inch Samsung TV right over here,
That
and
serves as the monitor.
that's my monitor because I can't see. but my camera's right here. And so I hit the mic. My camera's right here. So every time I look over here, like if I'm talking to the audience, I'm looking at me to make sure that I'm centered, and my hand is not centered. Did I lose track? I thought. But camera, new graphics card, and what was the other thing I wanted to get? Oh, one more mic. I'm gonna probably get one more
You need
mic.
4 mics.
That way, if we ever have like me, you, Marty, and a guest, we'll have 4 mics. I want to
Hey,
get 5 cameras. I
okay.
want to get 5 cameras, one camera on all of us, and then individual cameras. So that
Oh, okay.
way,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can
So that
have
we can
up to
use
four
that. So
people.
that way you can use your Stream Deck.
Yeah, I can use my
That is
stream
one piece
deck.
of equipment that we do have now. We have not. Caleb has not set it up, but we have a Stream Deck.
Well, I set it up for like DaVinci and stuff whenever I'm editing because you can have different profiles. And I
Oh,
love it because when you open a program, it automatically switches to that profile. So
nice.
futuristic. I feel like I'm in Minority Report over
We're
here, dude.
truly living in the year 2024 now.
Finally. I'm finally in 2024. Last year I was in 2016. And I was like, hey, did you ever hear about YouTube? uh, I guess we can wrap this one up. You got anything
um,
else?
well, there's a couple more things.
Oh, never mind,
Since
guys. Hold
we,
on.
since we, the last podcast we filmed never made it to air.
Oh, we got to cover some old
Did you
topics.
did you have a good Christmas?
This
Did
year,
you get anything good?
it was funny. I noticed that I only got like I think I only got like 4 wrapped presents for Christmas. I
Okay.
think I only got like 4 wrapped presents for Christmas.
Well, I wrapped your present
Yeah,
combined
all of
with,
ours were together.
yeah, yeah.
But I wasn't upset because every Christmas we have the problem where we go in, all the family shows up, we all open gifts, and then we have to haul all this stuff back to the room, and it's like, oh my
Yeah, it's
God.
like 20 feet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the problem is we have so much stuff. Anyone who can, has ever had a look around the shadow gallery, the rest of the house, is packed with garbage too. But and so it was always a chore, but this year it was like just a couple things, and it was pretty nice cuz, you know, I got everything that mattered was the Stream Deck and my freaking, MIDI keyboard. But I did think it was funny though that for ever since I first started working in 2005, I would always get my sister and my brother something every
Mhm.
single year. And it wasn't until like 2018, I think 2018 or 19, that my brother got me something. And it just happened to be the same year that Carrie also got me something, my sister. And
Coincidence
and
or
so,
conspiracy?
well, then that was it. It was just that one year, and then it went back to nothing.
Haven't got you anything else since?
Well, so last year, everyone kept saying, "Y'all only worry about the nephews, only worry about the nieces and nephews. Don't worry about
That's
the
what Bobby does.
siblings."
She doesn't get any presents for her sisters. She only gets presents for her nephews and nieces.
Well, what we figured was there's so few people in our family. Why does it matter? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna get something for him anyway because, I want to get him something nice. It's fun to open stuff, right?
Hmm.
So last year, we did the whole thing, and then everyone told us, "Oh, I thought we weren't getting anything for," and I'm like, "Oh, I guess it's been that way for 20 years." So finally, this year, I was like, okay, we're not gonna get anything this year. It's the first time. So I said it out loud. I was like, okay, we're finally, we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna do it. And it's not that it matters, but I do think it's funny because, now all of a sudden this year we get stuff and I'm like, oh yay, thanks. And so I had to be the one, oh, I didn't know we were doing. I thought,
How the tables
how
turn.
the turntables turn.
Um, I got you a plush D dog, and you didn't
Yes.
like it.
I mean, I
So
like
no,
it.
so now I'm butthurt. So now I'm butthurt.
Kevin got me a 36-year-old, a plush stuffed animal, which he doesn't understand. It is cool. And I was telling him that, I let my son play with it, who's an infant, and he also has a Psyduck. well, like a suede Psyduck. And dude, it's insane how nice that thing feels. And he chews on it. Oh God, he chews on it. But I told you I can't let him play with the D dog because it has magnets in it.
Yeah.
And so I'm
And I was
like,
like, oh, that was for you, not him. I don't know if you saw when you walked in your bedroom before we started filming, but I finally got in the Paul and the Heihachi,
oh
so
shit,
he's
really?
got those in there.
I did not see that. Oh dang.
The As Brian Cox would say, the Kazuya,
Kazuya.
or how did he say it?
He
Kazuya,
he put the
Kazuya,
yeah, Kazuya.
Kazuya.
Yeah.
Bandai Namco did run out of Kazuya, so he does not have the Kazuya.
So they're not gonna make any more.
I'm sure they'll restock at some point, but
Do you know what I need to track down? The freaking Kazuya pop. I can't.
don't you have that over there
I
somewhere?
have
Or
a Kazuya duck. I have the Tubbs duck,
hmm,
but they made the pop, and I need to get that.
okay.
And I'll probably get that. I don't know, next month or something. Doesn't matter.
For Christmas, I got like 9 or 10 shirts.
Well, you're gonna get 11 when I give you that one I got in there.
Well, I mean, I am gonna wear them all. I mean, they were like Pokemon shirts and like a Hufflepuff shirt and stuff I do like, but
Yeah.
I basically have a whole new wardrobe of shirts now.
Hey, dude, my mother for like 4 years in a row. See, back when we were younger, she would always ask us like, "What do you want?" And we would say, "Oh, this, that," and then she would just get that, exactly as we said. But then at some point, she started, like, she would say, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "Oh, I want, a MIDI keyboard," and she would be like, "Okay, a mini keyboard." You know what I mean? It'd be just a small one, and
Hmm.
I said MIDI, not mini, and so it was like, "Thanks, mom." It's the thought that counts, right? I'll still use it,
Yeah.
but for 4 years straight, she was getting me like the perfect shirts. She got me that freaking Ron Swanson that I always wear. It's like one of my favorite
Yeah.
shirts.
We can probably find many of
Yeah,
our videos
many.
of you wearing that.
Many. And I wore that. I wear that all the time. It's all dingy, like it's garbage
Yeah,
now.
it's kind of beat up.
And I love it. It's absolutely my favorite. I love it. I wanted to get another one. But anyway, I say all that because for 4 years straight, she was like just top notch. Every year I'd get a shirt, maybe two shirts. And then this year she didn't get me any shirts, and I was like, "Oh, well, combo breaker."
Damn.
My Aunt Debbie got us all Pluto shirts.
Pluto like the dog or
No, the
Pluto like the
planet,
planet?
or the former planet.
Okay,
Um,
what is that about?
I don't know. She just got. I'm thinking that it was. We always make the joke from Psych, like, have you heard about Pluto? It's
Uh,
messed up. It was
okay.
Gus's, like, he would hit on chicks, and that was his pickup line was, "Have you
Okay.
heard about Pluto? That's messed up." You know what I mean? Like
Do you
it's a,
remember last year when I got you and Jennifer? Was it last year or the year before? I got you and Jennifer and Penny shirts from Harry Potter World, and then you
yeah.
never wore them ever.
I think Penny wore hers, but you know why I didn't wear mine?
Why?
Okay,
Tell me.
let me first preface this by saying Kevin is a pretty dang good gift giver. Like
Thank you.
you and Juan, and like me when I try.
Okay.
Like we're all on the
That's a,
same.
that's a nice option select.
We're on the
Good option
same
select
level.
there.
It's like Juan, you, and then me when I try. Right. Like all I admit that, like when I'm motivated, I'll do the BJ pin that everybody seems to do.
Okay.
Motivated Caleb is like, right up there.
All right.
But Kevin is a really good gift giver. Uh Kevin is a good practical gift giver. Why I say Juan, I put Juan ahead of you, is not because Juan pays closer attention. I think you pay closer attention,
Okay.
but Juan gets like the outrageously out there. Like you will get something that you're like, I know he's gonna like this. This is great, whatever.
I do try to get something that people will like, yes.
And but beyond that, you know what people like. Like you know how like in our Secret Santa, because we always do Secret Santa, everybody always messages me, what is so and so like?
Okay.
Right? Everyone always asks me, what is so and so like? What is so and so like? Because not everybody is as familiar with like the extended group. and so they're always like, what are they like? What are they like? And so sometimes it's hard because I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
like, let me find out. But I say that because even I don't pay that much attention, and I'm being asked, and so. But you pay attention, and so your gifts are always kind of thoughtful, and they're good, and but sometimes, sometimes Kevin buys shirts that are great, great
Those
shirts.
were good Harry Potter
You
shirts.
couldn't have known that the neck on that shirt was gonna fit me like what's his name, a Ron Jeremy V-neck, like post filming. You know what I mean?
So it should have been an XL instead of an L.
No, it should have been like a small so that the neck would have fit me like this.
Oh,
I have a massive neck,
okay.
and it draped me like a freaking nightgown. You know what I mean? Like,
They were wearing undershirt.
dude, oh my god, that thing draped. Like you could see all the good bits. You know what I mean? Like if a girl was wearing that shirt, she would get banned on Instagram. You know what I
Okay, well,
mean? Like 100%.
so you don't want to show skin, is what you're saying?
Like it it was a good gift, thoughtful gift, but I think the gift that got canceled for you this year was better.
Okay.
Damn it. I'm gonna have to order again. Oh, you didn't like your boyfriend's shirt?
No, I've already worn it once. I like it.
Dude, I love that shirt.
It's funny.
Me, you, and Marty all have to wear it when we first get our first podcast, for when all of us are together. All three of us have to wear it.
Yeah.
Dude, and that'll be we should do another band picture.
Yeah, for sure. I guess last thing, unless you have anything else. Once again, we talked about this in the last podcast. It never made it to air. Any New Year's resolutions for you, Caleb? This is gonna sound really stupid, but I just want to play more video games in general. I felt like probably like the last couple of years, I have barely touched any video games at all. I I work and then I get home and it's just like I don't even want to do anything. So I just kind of watch Netflix or whatever, and then my PS5 is collecting dust.
Uh
So I want to play some more games.
PS5 rekindled my love for gaming. Like PS4, the majority of stuff I played was all fighting games, and then the occasional like Mirror's Edge catalysts. Shout out EA. Let's get another Mirror's Edge. Let's get a like in chat. Let's get a bunch of ones in chat if you want to see another Mirror's Edge. Eh,
There have been games that kind of copied Mirror Edge's gameplay.
Part of what makes Mirror's Edge better than those games is not just the gameplay, it's also the music, it's also the silly
Well, I
character,
mean,
the
you haven't even tried
story.
those games, so you
Well,
don't
the
know.
the visual aesthetic. Like that's a big part of what makes a game good. There's been a lot of games like Metal Gear, but I don't play those either.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like there's been a lot of Final Fantasies. I play all of those. I need to get back into RPGs.
In 13 days, on the same day, Tekken 8 will come out. The same day
That's 2 weeks.
as Like a Dragon. So
Yakuza Like a Dragon 2.
so I'm gonna be playing Tekken 8 mostly, but I am gonna pick up both.
When we first get it, I'm gonna play Like a Dragon first.
Okay, give me some
Infinite
time.
Wealth.
Give me some time to work on my combos on Tekken.
Or the other day when we were kind of like, back and forthing about Tekken 8,
hmm
I don't need I don't think I've ever really struggled too much in terms of like visual problems with Tekken.
hmm
My issue with Street Fighter is I can't pay attention to like counter hits. I can't pay attention to meter management. But in Tekken, I don't pay attention to any of that anyway. I just pay attention to what your character is doing. So if you crumple, okay, well I know I got to crumple. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I think that the counter hits are easier to confirm in Tekken than something like Street Fighter
And
because they're
so
more obvious.
yeah, like with Tekken, I don't think I've ever needed like accessibility options. Maybe some maps are garbage, but I just won't pick those maps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Side note: back in the day, we used to only play endless maps because we were like, walls are dumb.
Well, walls were kind of messed up in Tekken 4, weren't they?
I don't even
Like, couldn't
remember.
you do like infinites on walls in Tekken 4 or
I just would
no?
get him up against the wall and start doing the Kazuya stomp.
Oh, okay.
I love getting the Kazuya stomp, and then in Tekken 6 they added that double hit thing that he does when you hit both punches.
Oh yeah,
And dude, that's such a just if they try and get up in the corner and they don't do it right,
yeah.
I can trap you there forever.
And
I love it.
Tekken 8 does have meter. I think we talked about it
Seven
a
had
little
meter
bit
though, right?
before.
Oh no, Akuma had meter.
Yeah, a few characters like Geese and Akuma, but yeah. So you got meter now in Tekken 8, so you will have to pay attention to that. But
We
I mean,
should
otherwise, I think it's still the same Tekken we all know and love.
we should release a short in June called New Year's resolution.
So did you come up with one or?
My New Year's resolution for the channel is really the only thing that I got. I want to edit fancier.
Okay.
I want to make things look better. I want to be better at what I'm doing. Because if even if this channel like fails and y'all get tired, I'll still be doing shorts like by myself.
Okay.
But or whoever I
Yeah, I
can
mean
get.
you did do some shorts while we were
I
sick, so
don't
I
like it.
thought I thought the Metal Gear one was a good concept, but
I like my acting whenever I said, for real, dude. I also like my acting when I was like, what about get snake?
I guess that short never made it into the Metal Gear fans algorithm on YouTube.
sad note instead of a side note. Um, I thought that was hilarious. And then I'm scrolling through my feed, and then I see like two other shorts, basically the exact same thing.
Yep.
And I was like, go figure,
Well,
it was accurate.
yep,
Ours was just better because I'm a bigger Metal Gear fan than those people who made those videos.
that's probably true.
Uh, yeah, that's it. Personal life, just be a good dad. Get
Okay.
out there, give it 110%.
All
I
right.
think we played good. I think we.
I think we played good, did good, give 110%. Great movie.
How much he was sweating.
Yeah.
Shout outs. Let us know in the comments if you know what movie we're talking about. Boing, 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 boing.